Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode number 439 of For Immediate Release. I'm Shel Holtz.
And I'm Neville Hobson. We are close to Christmas, the time of year when marketers, communicators, and everyone comes out with predictions and trends for 2025, the following year, which is that year. We have one here. We've talked about a couple recently, and this one's actually quite interesting. Last week, Google celebrated 25 years of, they say, transforming how we search and discover, and shared its vision for the top marketing trends shaping 2025. From smarter tools like AI-powered marketing mix models to the rise of shoppable video, Google says the future promises more intuitive, ethical, and consumer-centric approaches. We'll explore these trends right after this. We'll also see AI agents simplifying complex workflows and mindful marketing, addressing consumer decision fatigue. These trends reflect a pivotal moment where technology meets responsibility, paving the way for a more sustainable and inclusive marketing future. Google's insights highlight 6 key digital marketing trends poised to shape 2025. Let's look into what this means for businesses and marketers alike. The first one, the evolution of marketing mix models. An MMM is a statistical analysis tool that helps marketers evaluate the effectiveness of their marketing campaigns and determine how different marketing tactics impact sales. With media fragmentation and budget constraints, MMMs are becoming smarter, faster, and more granular. Tools like Google's Meridian, a highly customizable modeling framework, enable real-time transparent insights into cross-channel performance. Second, AI agents as simplifiers. These will revolutionize data management, enabling seamless integration of multimodal information for business operations. These chief simplifier officers, as Google dubs them, simplify complex workflows and improve efficiency. This slots right into all the buzz and the hype and the talk in recent weeks about AI agents and how that is crucial in 2025. Third, rise of shoppable video. Social commerce continues to grow, with shoppable YouTube videos offering consumers seamless purchase options. Brands are encouraged to integrate product feeds, turn ads into storefronts, and partner with creators. Fourth, mindful marketing for decision fatigue. With consumers overwhelmed by information, brands should prioritize hyper-relevant, consented data to create meaningful, simplified marketing experiences that alleviate decision distress. I was actually conscious, Shel, when I was looking into this, all the buzz phrases that pop out in this. Decision distress, great one, isn't it? It's a new one to me.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth, AI-driven app marketing. The focus shifts from app installs to in-app engagement, with AI-powered features enhancing user experiences and driving specific actions such as purchases and content discovery. And sixth, ethical and sustainable marketing. Ethical imperatives, including sustainability, transparency in AI-generated content, and inclusivity, are essential for long-term consumer trust and brand loyalty. So these trends reflect a shift towards more personalized, ethical, and technologically integrated marketing practices. These are themes that are threaded through some of the conversations we've had in recent months in previous episodes of this podcast. We can take a look a bit more closely at some of these. One that strikes me as pretty key, perhaps based on my focus on what others have been talking about, AI agents, 2025 is the year for it, as I mentioned, is precisely this, AI agents as simplifiers. It strikes me that there's a nice phrase, chief simplifier officers, that you can really kind of equate that to, as Google calls it, a representative transformative advancement in 2025, building on the foundation laid by large language models in 2024. So that's one, I think, that we ought to be paying very close attention to. What's your thinking, Shel, about these trends?
Well, I think they're all spot on. I don't disagree with any of them. The marketing mix model, I think, is inevitable just based on the fact that this is data that's available, and it's really just a matter of having the AI tools that can analyze it and prompting them or setting them up to analyze effectively all of the different inputs against the output. I mean, there's so many different marketing elements that can be factored into these models. It can deal with time, it can deal with place, it can deal with content. I mean, just all kinds of different inputs and which ones are having impacts on the company's sales and the company's bottom line, it's pretty clear that AI can simplify that and speed it up. The agentic AI is what really excites me these days. And as you probably know, Google launched Gemini 2.0, the first model in that family of models yesterday. And it is agentic. I mean, that's the whole point of the 2.0. And there was a post on LinkedIn. I don't remember who shared this. I copied it and saved it without noting who it was. I only saw it because our friend Jeremiah Aoyang was commenting on it. But it was just a list of some of the things that agentic AI is going to do for you. And it's things like, imagine your acquisition agent runs 50 meme accounts simultaneously, testing hooks across different niches, including 1,000 posts daily until it finds what hits. Your research agent analyzes 100,000 tweets per hour, finding unmet needs and feature requests that no one's building for. Your content agent creates 200 unique hooks daily across X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, learning from each response and optimizing for what works. And this list goes on and on. The idea that you can assign a task to an AI and it just goes out and does it regardless of how many steps it takes and how much time it takes. I mean, some of these things you're probably looking at hours, days, some of them could take weeks, and it'll come back to you if it has a question as it's going through this process. I mean, this is probably the most dramatic change that we're going to see computing bring to work and life since the introduction of the PC. So this is going to be huge. And among these trends that you listed, this is the big one. This is the one that I think people are going to be latching on to. Now, I think how quickly it's going to change is going to be a question of how quickly adoption happens in organizations. And based on what we're seeing so far, probably not overnight, right? Because you're still going to have people dealing with the governance of these things and the security issues and the like. But ultimately, this is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, Google talk about that at length. And in fact, the use of the word agentic, I saw a number of people talking last week, and I was actually chatting with some folks on this very topic, that's predicted to be, I mean, you know how things are, the word of the year for 2025. I was curious myself even that I realized I knew the word, and the use it's being applied to now is apt for its definition of what is the word agentic. And according to many dictionaries, including this one, Wiktionary, which is actually the one that writes it in the most simple English, it's something that behaves like an agent, able to express or expressing agency or control on one's own behalf or on the behalf of another. That's pretty good reference, I think. There are, though, it surprised me, I suppose, many who think it's a made-up buzzword. No, it's not. It actually says it quite well, an agentic AI. But Google... There's one man who contributed to this particular topic, Guillaume Roques. He's Google's Senior Director of Marketing for Google Cloud in EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. He says these intelligent systems process multimodal information, text, voice, images, video, enabling them to reason, adapt, and manage complex workflows. And in marketing, and this was a key focus of what Google's talking about, they address the challenge of siloed data across disparate systems. So AI agents simplify tasks like creating data lakes and streamlining operations. That's an enterprise perspective. He gives some examples, which I thought, yeah, this makes total sense. So many others will be doing this. Kingfisher, he talks about. That's an international home improvement company with 1,900 stores, owns brands like B&Q in the UK, Screwfix, integrated enterprise data with AI-powered search tools, and so created a system that improves access to critical information of both customers and employees. Sounds very straightforward, that simple description. But as you pointed out, and indeed as they referenced earlier, these agents have characteristics that enable them on their own to reason, adapt, and manage those workflows. And that you can't underestimate how phenomenal that would be. Set aside concerns people express, which I've seen being talked about on LinkedIn quite a bit, is when they go out of control. This is a kind of a common thread. Not if, but when we have a problem. So be prepared for all sorts of weird stuff to happen. But the reality is that the benefits are huge from this if you are able to implement and execute on this quite carefully. So Google's Roques says that AI agents are becoming increasingly accessible to allow organizations to integrate advanced intelligence seamlessly into their operations without overhauling existing systems. So they are expected to play a central role in enhancing efficiency and adaptability across industries during 2025. It's a very optimistic view. I think you're right. None of this is suddenly going to happen, but you're seeing the Kingfisher example being replicated and not being, horns being tooted. Just casually, you see references to this. So if there's now gathering momentum that is focused on these trends, then you've got a lot more people paying attention to it and a lot more learning what others are doing. And we're likely to hear a lot more about this during 2025, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. And going back to this list of examples that this LinkedIn contributor shared, I'll find out who it was and credit him appropriately in the show notes. I just can't get to it right now. But he makes the point in this post that what previously required 20 people and $2 million in salary now happens automatically with 2,000 in agent costs. One founder becomes as powerful as a funded startup. Customer acquisition becomes predictable. Growth becomes systematic. And I don't think any of that is incorrect. One thing to keep in mind about agentic AI is that it has computer vision. That means it can see your screen and it can take control of your mouse and your keyboard, and it can sign into applications and create things and post things. One of the things that he offers here as an example is your content agent, your community agent welcomes every new user personally, handles support tickets in seconds, and turns feedback into feature priorities. Your email agent writes and tests 50 different sequences, personalizing every message based on user behavior. Your analytics agent spots trends before humans could, adjusting strategy in real time. This is all stuff that you're going to be able to do. This doesn't require hiring an outside agency or working with your IT team. These are things that if you just take the time to learn how to use these, and if you have access to the tools, which let's face it, I mean, some of them are going to be part of your $20 a month Gemini Pro account or your $20 a month ChatGPT Pro account. You can start creating these agents and running them. The benefits that you're going to accrue from this in terms of your own productivity and the efficacy of your efforts is I mean, it's right there on a plate in front of you. It's vital to learn this. We talked when OpenAI first released ChatGPT 3.0 that people are worried about whether this is going to take their job. And the standard answer was, no, it's not going to take your job, but somebody who knows how to use it will. That's more true now than ever with the rise of the agents, because if it can do the work of 10 people that took 40 hours before, you don't want to be one of those 10 people. You want to be the one who's controlling this.
I'm sure we'll see that kind of concern being articulated more and more during 2025. But I'm equally sure that we're going to hear more from companies' experiments. So we'll hear what they're getting. And they're likely to be the large enterprises more often than not. But I would see news emerging more than we've seen on the professional services side of businesses, such as finance, definitely communication, advertising, public relations, etc. I'm intrigued to know something I read last week, and I didn't bookmark it, unfortunately, so I can't remember which company it was talking about, was an experiment on in employee communication using AI agents on a limited scale in one division of this company. We're going to hear lots about that, I'm sure. So it's all good. I think, though, the thing I would pay attention to is amongst the critiques and the critics, as it were, is the ones that are really, really informed opinion rather than, what would you call it, worse than clickbait, attention-grabbing, negative stuff. We're going to see a lot of that too. So misinformation, as I would describe that. So latching on to the people who are informed, and I'm hoping that we're going to see more public speaking about these events, seminars, webinars, you name it, on the progress of all of this. And not just from the likes of Google, because I'm sure we're going to see lots of that, but from people actually at the coalface implementing this stuff. So I'm keeping a close eye on LinkedIn in particular, what people are saying there about this kind of topic. But I agree with you that this is the big one of all the ones that Google mentioned. The MMMs, I think, are key. Shoppable video. I'm not convinced about that, but I've not looked into it. That's, to me, like, well, isn't that what we've been seeing all along? They talk about YouTube, and I'm sure that'll play a big role. What about some of the other players? TikTok being one, and notwithstanding the potential of them not being able to be used in the US sometimes quite soon. Newer ones, niche video channels are emerging. So mindful marketing, I mean, this phrase for decision fatigue and decision distress. Yeah, the people are overwhelmed, so they need hyper-relevant data. That absolutely is the case. So if that we see that improving in 2025, that'll be a damn good thing, I would say. AI-driven app marketing. So shifting from app installs to in-app engagement. Yeah, so not just go and install our app. It's what does it give you when you have done that. So focus on you've got it. This is what it'll do for you. So AI-powered features. I saw something the other day. I have a Samsung phone running everything's the latest versions of everything. And I keep now getting these emails from Samsung about check out this AI feature in your Galaxy phone. And I've been experimenting with some of it, and some of it is, whoa, really interesting. Others is kind of, well, okay, if I was a gamer, I'd really be interested, but I'm not. Point is, though, that these things are happening. So the ethical and sustainable marketing, that to me fits right into the thing we've talked about quite a bit, which is precisely that, ethical approaches to business, that people are interested in doing business with an organization that has an ethical approach, a sustainable marketing. Absolutely. No more. I read a story just the other day about a vegetable or a fruit grown in, I think, Argentina. It was a South American country that's then air freighted to Thailand for processing and wrapping and packaging, and then shipped back to the US for selling in supermarkets. I mean, that to me is insane. Think of the carbon emissions apart from anything else, but the inefficiency of that, I guess, is the most cost-effective way currently to do that. But is it sustainable? No, it's not. Is it ethical? Arguably, I'd probably say it probably isn't. So those are now issues in the midst of all this. So maybe Agentic AI or AI agents as chief simplifier officers will play an even bigger role in businesses.
Yeah, I remember being in a gift shop in Hawaii and looking at a box of chocolate-covered macadamia nuts and seeing that they were packaged in Torrance, California.
Yeah.
They shipped the macadamia nuts to California. They put the chocolate on it there, packaged it up, and sent it back to Hawaii to be sold in the hotel
Probably
gift
the
shops.
most cost-effective way of doing it, but sustainability, ethical, etc.
Yeah. When it comes to sustainability and decision quality and things like that, again, I think the agentic AI is going to play a huge role here, because, I mean, if you look at the decision quality and decision fatigue, I think the way people are thinking about that now is based on the chatbot AI implementations that we see, where you can share some data with it and it'll do some analysis. I think that's great, but I think that it can also perform the tasks that the communicator or the marketer has been assigned to do or needs to do from the outset, with guidance from the marketer, rather than just, I'm at this stage now where I need to analyze some data. Just start at the beginning of the project and tell the agent to do it. And then you can make adjustments along the way. You can tell it to check in with you at each key milestone so that you can assess what it's done and ask it to make adjustments if necessary. But using the agents in these situations, I think that's what's going to turbocharge all of this stuff, not just pouring more data in and doing the analysis that we've been able to do for the last couple of years.
Yeah, agree. Looking forward to 2025 in that case.
Yep, no question. And that will be a 30 for this episode of For Immediate Release.